ठेकेदार came and he's like, Nani ke ghar aaye ho kya? And I was like, how does he know that the mural is inspired by Nani's love for mural? Hello Dispatch, I'm Hussain and I also go by Yoursmurally. That's my introduction. I graduated as an architect, that's true, but what I was doing while being in architecture school is that I was painting, and painting for me has been a hobby ever since I was a kid, but I'm not formally trained as a painter. So what I used to do was that I would be painting and I'd like put it up on my Instagram, where I also had my seniors in architecture school watching my work, and I never thought that I'd be doing it professionally, like painting professionally. It always for me was a hobby, and I had never imagined that I'd be painting someday and making, money out of it as well. I'll tell you the incident that happened. Back in 2018, I think, one of my friends, she was in Lahore at Reena's Kitchenette, and I told her that please go and have a look at the restroom. They have a really very cool wall mural done over there. She reached out saying that she has this opportunity. Would you want to do it? And I was like, I was totally game for it because again, I had not thought that I'd be painting a wall ever. I took it up, and from there, it was no looking back. How does architecture still live within my practice? I think the fact that I work in close collaboration with architects and interior designers, I have to take care of all these issues, because that's the thing with murals. This is what it sets it apart from painting on a canvas. When you're painting a mural, it belongs in the space. So you have to plan it as much as you plan the furniture, as much as you plan any other fixture that belongs in a space. So with mural, it's in very close proximity with the rest of the interior design or architecture design. So it's inseparable. Therefore, I still am in touch with my field. Every space dictates a different, inspiration for me. Sometimes the houses are very traditional and they're very much rooted in, South Asian culture. So you have to adapt to that language. And sometimes, like you see in the background, the house is very modern, contemporary. And then over there, you have to paint it as is. So it's always the space that tells me what is required for the space and what would go best with it. And I'm approached for a project and I'm shown what is wanted for a project, I very much romanticize it. It's like I am trying to figure out what personality does this mural have. I think it is for this ritual only. Like, it's my personal belief that clients, they feel that there is a heart in whatever work that I do. This is the biggest compliment that I get from my clients, that, even if it's not perfect, they think that it's done with a lot of love. And I think it's for the very ritual where I try to understand the personality of the mural and how it is going to talk to somebody who's watching it, or who's, using the space or just seeing the work. How would it talk to that person? I really like to imagine that personality. It depends on the color, it depends on how thick the color application is and how I start the work. So it depends project to project. Like sometimes if I'm doing a very graffiti style mural, so my personality automatically changes as well. I'm more loose and I'm very feeling like New York City, and I'm in the streets over there, and it's like gun and run kind of situation. I was working on a recent project, which was a salon, and it's called Bizu. I go to the site, I have a meeting with the client and the architect, and they tell me what the space is. I did not know what Bizu meant, and I felt kind of illiterate asking them what it means. But then I went home, I Google searched the word and what it means, and found out that it's a French word for a gentle kiss. And that was the moment of inspiration, that I'm gonna kiss the wall very gently with my washes. Everything is so warm and delicate over there. They were not even walls to me anymore, they were like skin. Again, taking inspiration from the name, I did very dilute washes, one over another. Methodology for that mural in particular is thin on thin, which means that you dilute the paint so much that you do one layer, you let it dry, and then you go over it and to add depth and add definition. So that was a project where I got the personality from the name of the brand. So as much as I romanticize the mural, I do not do grids, I do not use a projector to do the murals. Most of the times, I'm reached out by the architects or the clients with a specific image that they want me to replicate for them. And I feel like if I bring in those tools where I am even, tracing the reference as is, using a projector or whatever means, I think I would not have any sense of ownership towards it. I take a long route. It might not be viable money-wise, do the work without using any hacks, as they call it. What I do is I take a longer route. I understand the drawing. My drawing quality is getting better. My line work is getting better because I am not tracing, but I'm doing it myself. And it gives me great sense of ownership despite it being a, recreation of an image which is already there on the internet. I'm very grateful for one collaborator. I used to do all the work myself earlier, but since last year, I have Abbas bhai with me who's always with me and helping me out doing stuff.
मैं तकरीबन 4 साल सऊदीया में रह के आया तो मैं कलर का काम करता था। किसी किस्म का टेक्सचर हो गया, किसी किस्म की डिज़ाइनिंग हो गई। डिज़ाइनिंग में मैं मास्टर हूँ। कोई भी डिज़ाइन हो, डिको हो, कोई भी हो, वो मैं कर लेता हूँ। तो इस वजह से फिर जब मैं इधर आया तो कोई मानता नहीं था कि मेरे रिश्तेदारों में कोई भी नहीं मानता था कि आप इधर काम कर रहे हैं। मैं उनको तस्वीरें भेजता था, अपने व्हाट्सएप पे स्टेटस लगाता था, तो लोग देख के घर वाले भाई सारे खुश होते थे कि तुम अच्छी फील्ड में चले जाओ। शुरू से हमारा ख़ानदानी काम जो है ना, मेरे वालिद साहब भी पेंटर है, यानी कि कलर का काम करते हैं। मेरा तो ख्वाब ये है कि मैं जल्द सीख जाऊँ, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा। सोच तो यही है, आगे जितना जल्दी सीख सकूँ और ज़्यादा करूँ, कोशिश मेरी यही है।
I was doing these beautiful flowers, the same mural which I just told you about, which drew inspirations from my nani's love for flowers, right? And I was very much romantic with the flowers, painting them very beautiful and delicate. And all of a sudden, with this news, I started adding a lot of dirty browns to it, and which I wasn't realizing myself that I'm painting something completely opposed to what I was doing earlier. And then my client mentioned that you're sad, and that is why the sadness is coming into the mural. And that is when I realized that my mood can really come into the mural as well. Like if my heart is enjoying the personality of the mural, and if my heart is not there, it would also show in the project. So that is when I learned that, how important it is to keep your intentions very much aligned with what you're doing, or what the outcome, or what is the desired result that you want to give to your users, right? I really take stories from sites, especially when I'm working with other laborers on site, and they'll always make comment about it. Especially, I tell you the funny thing, when I was working on the mural, which drew inspiration from my nani's love for flowers, and two of the young laborers, they came and sat next to me. And then the Thekadar came and he's like, Nani ke ghar aayo kya? And I was like, how does he know that the mural is inspired by Nani's love for mural? Because I was in that energy. So I get to hear such amusing stuff as well. My social life is basically with these laborers. So I get to know them, I ask them where do they come from and how are they liking the space or the mural that I'm doing. So there's a lot of dialogue with people around me as well. Validation is really very important for me because I think when you're spending so much time doing something, you become extra critical of your work as well. Like you are seeing flaws and all of that. But it's really very important to see it from other people's eyes as well, because your eyes and your brain, it gets tired working on something for like 10 or 12 hours. You do not comprehend it anymore. You're doing it, you're going bit by bit, but you'd always need an external person and their perspective on the wall, whatever the wall looks like. The dream space is doing my own house, because I feel like I do not know yet what would I do if I do not have a client's brief, because so far what I've been doing is specifically catering to what the client wants. If I am the client, then what would I do is something I would really want to know. Thank you, Dispatch. It was lovely talking to you and sharing my work experience worthy of 6-7 years. And honestly, I have been able to put in perspective a lot of things which I was reflecting on. But while talking to you about all of these experiences, I am kind of like missing my old projects as well, and I must pay visit to all of those.